Hey guys, alright, today we are watching World War II's Unluckiest Ship, the William D. Porter by Sam Nella. Now there are, I think, a couple more Sam Nella history-related videos he has up on his channel that I have yet to react to. But, the ones that are not necessarily history-related, would you guys like me to react to those? Because, not gonna lie, Sam Nella gives me the most views out of any other videos I watch, out of any other channel that I watch. Sam Nella gives me the most views, and I kind of like that. So yeah, let me know if you guys would like to see me react to the rest of Sam Nella's videos, and not just the ones that have a sort of history relation. But yeah. Let's go ahead and just dive right into this video and see if Sam Nella somehow makes this video fucked up in the way he usually does. I've never heard of the William D. Porter. Oh.
Hey kids, now some philosophers have called boats the airplanes of the sea, but while every glamorous Glennis has its slow-mo shun, so too does JJ the jet plane have his awful counterpart. Her legacy in many ways resembles my middle school career, a 3-year-long travesty plagued by blunder after blunder due to both gross incompetence and sheer misfortune, with the only silver lining being that it's remembered by relatively few. Meet the USS William D. Porter, nicknamed the Willie D, which was a perfectly acceptable alias in the days before Don't Ask, Don't Tell. She was a Fletcher-class destroyer, which, if you know Fletcher as well as I do, you know he's pretty high-class at destroying. Like when he snapped off my DS screen during summer camp because he was trying to get a better look. Didn't even apologize. He was just like, well, you're not supposed to bring video games to camp anyway. Even though everyone did. Fuck you, Fletcher. You were a counselor. You're supposed to be more mature than us. You're the reason I grew up with a lingering resentment towards authority. And my only reprisal is that I got to draw you as a disgusting fat lard for millions of people. Actually, I think his name might have been Eric. Anyway, in July of 1943, the ship was commissioned by the Navy, led by Lieutenant Commander Wilfred A. Walter. As her first real job, the Willie D was assigned to a top-secret escort mission across the Atlantic. Walter was like, alright man, time to prove ourselves. I want to see you all on your A-game. And as its first act under military command, the ship didn't raise anchor properly, and tore a massive chunk out of the ship next to it while pulling out. Okay, rough start, but definitely not a sign of things to come. The next day, she met up with 3 other ships, including 2 destroyers and a battleship known as the USS Iowa, and the fleet set off towards Africa. Given the clandestine nature of the operation, they were ordered to maintain total radio silence so as not to alert any subs that might be lurking below. Suddenly, boom, bang, borf, Hare Krishna, huge explosion off the starboard quarter. They're like, holy shit, evasive maneuvers. But after however many minutes, the transmission comes in saying, hi, this is Wilfred D. of the Willie Walter. So a depth charge may have accidentally fallen off the ship, and we may have also forgotten to turn off the safety mechanisms on said charge, causing it to detonate immediately. So if you heard a little noise a bit ago, no cause for alarm. Also, sorry for breaking radio silence. Love you, bye. Shortly thereafter.
What? What? How? How is that even? How do you screw up that much? How? Like, it's the 1940s, so training wasn't as intensive as it is today, but still.
After a strange phenomenon was spotted near the ship. Officer, what in the rhyme of the ancient fuck is that? Appears to be a large wave, sir. Jesus Christ, they have that now? Basically everything that wasn't tied down ended up being swept off, and one of the boilers in the engine room got foobarred. But fortunately, no crew members were taken away, except for the one that was. Later, the 4 ships congregated in the waters east of Bermuda when the Iowa decided to test its anti-air abilities, and launched a bunch of weather balloons for target practice. A few of these drifted towards the Willie D, and they took some potshots just for fun, probably wrecking some happy albatross households in the process. But Walter was like, men, it's time to redeem ourselves. Spit those crayons out. Don't you know the purple ones are bad for you? Time for some impromptu torpedo drills on the Iowa. Yay!
No.
That was Narnar and the Pow Pow. They're gonna douse their trousers when they see how good we toured those pedos. Say, you guys remember to take the primer out of all of them before launching, right? Yes, sir. Yep. What? Fortunately, the Iowa didn't really have much valuable cargo that could be damaged in the event that the torpedo struck. Oh, except for 32nd President of the United States Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who was being escorted to Cairo as the whole point of the mission.
What? How? Wait. Wait. How? how do you screw up that? How do you have such an incompetent crew? What?
Next 5 minutes aboard the Willie D were just total fucking chaos. Humid sacks of rice, hogs and bats sniffing each other, massive stereos. Commander, we really should radio them. No! I am not breaking any more rules! Do the flashy light thing! Hey, incoming signal from old Iron Brains, a yuck. They're saying they're, going to reverse at full speed? What? Shit off a bowsprit, this ain't working! Fine, call 'em! FaceTime, oovo, I don't give a hoot! The transmission arrived in the nick of time, and the torpedo detonated a safe distance away in the Iowa's wake. Of course, that didn't stop the entire crew of the Willie D from being arrested for, you know, shooting a torpedo at the president. Lawton Dawson, the Elmer's eater from earlier, was initially sentenced to 14 years hard labor, till FDR came out and was like, no, it's okay. Boys will be boys. But we are sending you and the rest of Carnival Cruise Line to Alaska, where there's fewer things to ruin by being yourself. Get it, Carnival Cruise Line? Cause you're the worst. And also clowns. So they kicked it for a while in the Aleutians, otherwise known as the tale of the pregnant rat that makes up Alaska. This
I have never heard that referred to as that. Get out of here, Sam. No, that's just disgusting. That's... Now that's how I'm always gonna picture it that way now.
This went on mostly without incident, except for when they were anchored outside an officer's home during a New Year's Eve
screwed up
party,
again,
and a
didn't they?
sailor got drunk and decided to fire off one of the 5-inch guns for a laugh, ended up sending a bunch of his geranium straight to hell where they belong. Other than that, smooth sailing. Then they hung out at the Philippines for a bit before Central Command was like, alright, looks like you smoothskins are ready for actual missions again. Except you're going to clown college. And the Willie D was sent to the Battle of Okinawa under the leadership of some guy named Charles. Here they actually did some worthwhile stuff until June 10th, 1945, when a kamikaze began to dive towards them. They weren't able to shoot it down, probably because it wasn't American, but it crashed in the water
Fucking hell.
some ways away. They were like, phew, crisis averted, turned their attention elsewhere, unintentionally driving right over where the bomber landed. The plane was like, the hell? Oh, shit, that's right. Bonsai. About 3 hours of desperate repairs went by before the order to abandon ship was given, and miraculously, every crew member made it out alive by the time the ship sank, just 12 minutes later. So it just goes to show, everything has its silver lining. Everyone on the dip ship gets to live, every filthy Chuck E. Cheese ball pit has a delicious prize at the bottom, and the vast nexus of pointless diversions we call the internet actually has a couple productive things to do on it too. Sponsor time, Skillshare.
Oh my god. Let's go to Twisty Salmonella here. I don't know what else to say, man. This is fucking weird. Like, you know, you think... You would think a crew on a ship would be, you know, better trained. Right? Even if it's the 1940s, and obviously when you look back, the training for armed services during World War II were not as intensive for... I guess I can speak on the USA. We're not as intensive for the USA as they would be in the following decades, and essentially, especially compared to the modern day. The training is much more intensive. But obviously, service members will, you know, say that, you know, their branch is better trained than the other branch, blah, blah, blah. That's, you know, that's a thing that happens, I think, across all countries. Which I enjoy reading and watching. That shit's funny to me. But yeah, I don't know what else to add. How the fuck do you get such an I can understand having maybe one or two incompetent crewmates. I can understand that, like, you know, error of probability. You know, it's gonna happen. But to have a whole crew, an entire destroyer crew, be that incompetent to fire at the USS Iowa, probably one of the most famous battleships ever. What? How do you be that dumb? It's just blowing my mind. I don't understand it. I just can't comprehend. So yeah. I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed. Remember to leave a suggestion down below for what you want to see me react to next, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.